put control into the community knows what they want. They don't have to meet for 6 months. You don't have to spend $50,000 to hear a feasibility study as to what needs to be done where I live. Come knock on my door and ask me. Participatory budgeting puts control back into the community, which knows what it wants. It takes it out the hands of government who don't live in the community, and it puts it back in control of the community. PB brings power to the people back.
PB started in Brazil in the 80s, and it's basically a way for elected officials to allocate a chunk of money to their constituents. So instead of an elected official saying this is what's going to go in the budget, the constituents get a chunk of money, they form assemblies, and they get to vote on their own projects of what they would like to see in their neighborhood. I believe it's in its 4th year in New York City and Chicago, where it started in Chicago, and since then it's moved to Vallejo, California, and I think it's been growing since then.
I really enjoyed it when we went to Chicago because we went on a field trip to the 5th Ward. And at the 5th Ward, we were allowed to go to a charter school. And at the charter school, they set up different projects that they were allowed to vote on. And in the process, we spoke to different people that lived in the community and was voting on the project, what meant the most to them, that they wanted to see in their community and how the money would be spent. I thought that was a great idea to implement into the city of Buffalo, where I live, because it's a lot of things that needs to be done in our community that only we can see. Outside people don't see because they just come through back and forth to work. We live there. So it was a great experience. I enjoyed it, and I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to understand what Presbyterian budgeting meant.
One of the ideas that, one of my concerns with participatory budgeting was the fact how you get 300 people together and get it all narrowed down to 3 ideas. So that's what I was most interested in, being an organizer, how to organize 300 people and get 300 ideas down to 3. And they did it by steps. They had the 3 where people just 2 ideas up, and then they went down to 200, they went down to 100, they went down to 30, they went down to 10. And just to hear the people tell you about them going down the steps was just the whole excitement of going. So the last question I asked them was, well, if your idea doesn't win, how do you feel? And they said, we feel great because I live in a community that the improvement is happening. So all this means is that if I want my idea to pass, I have to organize my neighbor to vote on this idea. So in the process, we get the community more involved in organizing and how to democratically live in your community. And you bring neighbors together where they start speaking to each other. It makes you feel now I'm necessary in my community. I live in the community I enjoy living in because I have a voice. No longer am I just in the community looking for a way out. I'm in the community looking for a way to stay there. That's the difference between what's happening with the Common Council money now and what's happening with participatory budgeting. Common Council is doing an excellent job, but all of them do not live in the community that they serve. It's best served by the people who live in the community. So what participatory budgeting does is make people like me and you start thinking about the improvements that we want where we live, whether it's sidewalks, whether it's taking that empty lot across the street and turning it into a vegetable garden so that we have green space that we can provide food for our neighborhoods, or whether it's any project that the community wants. If the kids get together and they outvote the adults and they want a playground, and they got 1 vote more than adults, they get the playground. So what PB does is bring the community together to give them a voice. And when you have a voice, you get unity. And when you have unity, you get unionized. When you get unionized, you get PB. And when you get PB, you get control of your neighborhood, and people can walk the streets. Kids can play football in the streets. It could be fun again. PB can work. People have to understand and have to believe in themselves. It's not about believing in me. It's believing in yourself and where you live, what the improvements you want in your community. That's the strength of PB. It puts it personally into the hands of the community.
Hi, my name is Denasia, and I'm a junior member of the Clean Air Coalition. We talk about what we're going to try to do to fix stuff.
I think PB will also give life back to hopelessness that people feel in the community, to where life is being drained out without decisions being made by the people that live in the community. Because you have people that come up to me sometime, want to know what's going on, how can they come in and just take this land from us and move stuff all around without us really having a voice. I feel that PB will give consciousness back to the people that life is growing. Life is strong. Life is hopeful. We have a chance. Just keep fighting. And PB give us the opportunity to gain that life back and that strength. That it's not dark at the end of the tunnel. The sun is going to shine. So we must continue to fight and stand strong. And PB is an excellent way to help one another, stand on each other's shoulders, and make sure the light continues to shine through.